And we're back after a big weekend.
Episode 25.
25. Quarter of a
25
century.
already.
Yeah,
right?
that's good.
We're going to be talking about the fight that happened past weekend, Anthony Joshua, and see what implications are in the heavyweight division now.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about some other fights that are going to be happening, and actually a pretty good card this weekend in Madison Square Garden in New York. And Top Rank promoted one of the, probably pound for pound, the best guy right now is Terrance Crawford. And he'll be fighting this weekend. And we'll just call him the Meme Machine. Because that's what his nickname is.
He's mean in there.
Yeah.
He's got bad intentions.
Because his name is hard to pronounce. It's Lithuanian.
Mean Machine.
Let's leave it at
Way
that.
easier.
We'll leave that Meme Machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's this weekend.
That's this weekend. And
Nice.
there's a bunch of other fights on that card too. And then we have Teofimo Lopez in his first shot of the world title that people have been saying that he's a world title contender and things, and he's fighting Richard Commey, who's also a really good fighter, really solid fighter, and that's gonna be a good test. And then we have on the fight prior to that it will be Michael Conlan and his fight against Nikitin, the Russian that he lost to in Rio at the 2016 Olympics.
I watched that fight. I know you and I disagree on this, but I thought he won, and I thought because the Russian had a bigger name at the end of the day, I thought it was really close, but I think Conlan edged it out, and then because the other guy was a bigger name and prospect.
Yeah, I think that a lot of it always has to do with that, like the ramifications. What are they going to be?
Right.
That we have this guy win, he's going to go on and he's going to be in more high-profile fights. We'll probably get the call up. We want to be part of that. We're all making money from that. So that's what it seems like that. But for me, we'll talk about this when we get into that fight and everything. But I just thought it was a close fight. I mean, there's been a lot worse robberies in amateur boxing than
it was close.
Michael Conlan losing to that the Russian Nikitin. But he lost to him previously too, and he lost to him in the 2013 World Championship.
Who? Conlan?
Conlan lost to the same
guy.
Yeah.
Well, let's see how they both compare as pros now.
Mm-hmm.
Different. Yeah. It's a whole other game. What happened in the past?
Totally different game, and professional boxing is almost a different sport than amateur boxing is.
Yeah.
The rules are different. The objective is different.
Right.
The objective is to knock the guy out.
So the strategy, and you only got 3 rounds, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the strategy is very different.
That's one big thing when I turned professional after amateur.
Yeah.
Is that my first fight, like just to be in the ring with no headgear and have like 8-ounce gloves on, because 147 pounds and below you wear 8-ounce gloves.
Yeah.
And just like to be in the ring and to see everything so clear and you're just looking at your opponent and you're just like wow, you got so much to work with here. You know, it felt different, a lot different. And the thing in professional boxing, the biggest difference is that you can't afford to take a shot. One punch can end the fight. One punch can change everything. One punch. So you can't, in amateur boxing, you know, defense is obviously always really big, but it wasn't as huge, meaning that you can throw a few punches, 3-4 shot combination, get hit with one shot. Well, it's okay. He got 1 point. I got 3 or 4, right? And
right.
But in professional, you can't do that because your 3 shots, and his one shot can end it.
Yeah. You cannot get sloppy with your offense in the pros, and you gotta take care of your house in the pros.
Yeah, you do.
Yes,
for sure you do.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the fight that happened on the weekend.
Okay.
And the big Anthony Joshua.
Let's talk about that.
And
the
I see you
rematch.
flexing there, trying to show your muscles.
Yeah, they're a little big today.
Yeah. I don't wanna make you feel bad and show my guns. I got something in my neck.
I was just stretching.
No,
Sure.
the doctor told me that I got like a ball stuck in my arm though. He's like, there's like a ball stuck here. I'm like, no, it's in my bicep.
Yeah, no. But what you didn't stay in his office to hear after you left, he said it was a ping pong sized ball.
A golf ball.
Okay, so let's talk about the fights. Let's get the general stats out of the way, and then let's get into what we saw in that fight.
Okay, yeah, I like how you put that.
Okay,
okay, so the first fight was 6 months ago. Prior to this one, the rematch happening, and it was one of the biggest upsets in boxing in a long time. And Joshua getting knocked down 4 times on road to a 7th round TKO against an unheralded Andy Ruiz Jr.
Yeah.
So
but we knew he was dangerous before that fight.
Yeah, we knew he was dangerous. He had quick hands, and he was fast, and his one loss was a Dimitrenko, and then Dimitrenko.
No, he didn't. Not Dimitrenko. He lost to Parker, to the New Zealand fighter.
I'm so sorry. He just beat Dimitrenko
just before that
fight, right?
Yeah.
And then he was He just got off fight. That's when he got the call.
Yeah,
because
so he was in shape and ready to go.
Right, because. Who was Joshua, the opponent before that? Oh, it was Miller. Big Baby Miller, remember?
Yeah, it was supposed to be Miller.
Yeah, how many times he tested positive for steroids, and he's still talking all this. Like, man, you take steroids one time, just go away. We don't, not in this sport, man. It's not in the sport of boxing.
The consequences are too grave, potentially.
Too grave. That's the word, grave.
Yeah.
Right? So Andy Ruiz Jr. now is Anthony Joshua won the fight. Clearly won the fight on it was a 12-round unanimous decision.
Yeah.
And the scores were 118-110 twice, and 119-109. So he regains his WBA, WBO, and IBF titles. And he did. We watched it here, right, dog?
Yeah.
He did what he had to do in order to win the fight.
It was a great strategy, and he didn't. Suddenly, if he would throw that right, or when he did throw that right, he didn't get like overzealous and want to stay in the pocket and keep throwing. He threw the right, and then boom, got out again and started that lateral motion around the ring.
Right.
It was really good. He really improved. His skill level really looked good. And the fact he was down in weight, made it possible. You can see he must have completely trained changed the way he trained.
Right, because of the weight. The one thing was the weight loss. So he lost 11 pounds on a muscular frame. It's not like he was heavy and like he was like Ruiz. So he lost 11 pounds.
And that came from muscle.
Yeah,
so
totally, for sure. And that's what was the thing about him and his stamina and everything. I remember Evander Holyfield had those issues as well too.
Yeah.
And Holyfield was always a big, heavyweight, very muscular trainer.
Right.
Lee Haney, Mr. Universe, and all that.
But it was his heart,
his heart,
like he couldn't be stopped.
Right. He just had.
And you saw him like with these lazy swings when he was tired, but he would never give up. Holyfield. Yeah. It was amazing.
Man, I love Holyfield. Like he came here for the Lee Baxter was gonna have a WBC Invitational tournament here in Toronto, and it fell through. But for the press conference, and I went to it, and Holyfield was there, and he was talking, and Holyfield, like he just like, and my mama told me like, boy, you gotta get going, and I listened to mom, like it was just so nice to hear him talk.
Oh yeah, he always does. He says the reason he's so, and he says he's humble because that's how his mother raised him, to be humble.
Yeah.
and it's a great quality.
Yeah,
I saw him some footage of him sparring with Joshua.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's still pretty good, Holyfield. You know, it never leaves you completely.
It never does, but when you can't get in the ring and take shots.
No.
One thing you can't do.
Unfortunately, you can hear in his slurred speech.
Yeah.
He's, there's some brain issues there.
Oh, yeah.
But hopefully it's not progressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Joshua losing the 11 pounds and the Ruiz. So Ruiz, he put on 15 pounds.
Yeah.
So he found the weight that Joshua lost and put it on himself and added 4 more pounds to it. The first fight he weighed 260 and this fight he weighed 283. So basically, like, when I saw the weigh-in the day before I looked at the weights and stuff, I'm like, man, this guy is heavier than he was before, and he was fat before when he fought the first time. He doesn't look like a stereotypical heavyweight boxer they should look. And I know you can't judge a book by the cover and all that, but I just feel there's a certain a certain way that you should look while doing out your duties of your job and you know.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying, and but with Ruiz putting on that weight specifically, what's really strange is about a month or so ago, I was following his progress, and he had dropped 6 pounds. And that was confirmed by, I don't know if it was his trainer or his father confirmed that. And then he said he just stopped listening to these guys.
Yeah.
He would try to run on his own. He didn't train hard.
Yeah.
And he was out with his friends a lot, partying
Yeah.
and having fun.
Yeah, he's been saying
spending money.
Now after the fight.
Yeah.
His excuses are coming out. Like,
yeah, but I think that's accurate though. Whether it's an excuse or not, it's the truth.
No, I totally know it's the truth.
And he looked,
You're right.
Right, and he looked like he was out partying.
But he said that when you make an excuses, when you say, I should have done this, but I didn't. I was doing this and that, and I should have done that.
Yeah, he's at least owning it.
That's the reason why I lost. He's pretty much saying this is why he lost.
Yeah, he has to believe that though. He has to.
Yeah,
he can't believe there was any other reason except that, because otherwise, if he goes into another fight thinking that way,
right?
No, he's gonna lose just mentally.
But I think the promoters and everyone's all eyes were on this fight, and to all the people in boxing and the matchmakers and the promoters and all are all seeing this and witness that. And are not going to be waiting to get Ruiz on their card and stuff. The guy...
No, he's dug a hole a bit.
Yeah, now he's got to try to climb out of that hole that he dug, which is really deep. To me, his 5 minutes of fame...
You think they're over?
It's over. It's 5 minutes of fame.
I don't know. You might be right. There's a good chance you're right.
Unless he loses a whole bunch of weight and he's got to lose a whole bunch of weight. Maybe this will light a fire up his wazoo or whatever.
Yeah.
And
I think he learned, if he's smart, and I think he is, he learned a huge lesson.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And he could see now that extra 20 pounds completely hindered him. His footwork was slow.
He was slow.
He couldn't cut off the ring. Because he also didn't want to spend energy.
He couldn't even barely get in the ring.
I think if he just stood still because he was so big, he would have cut off half the ring.
Yeah, there he was. The problem solved. Joshua wouldn't be moving around. And Joshua fight like a wounded animal.
Yeah,
like he was not just on the retreat. He wasn't looking to engage. He did what he had to do, like Klitschko, like Vladimir Klitschko, fighting on the outside using his high, which he should, and you can't really knock him for it.
You cannot.
But my thing is this, and let's look at another British fighter, a Canadian British fighter, Lennox Lewis. And when Lennox got knocked out by Hasim Rahman, the next fight he knocked him out. he knocked him out. He got knocked out, then he went back and changed it because winning a decision after you got knocked out.
Yeah, it's not really equal.
You beat him, but he knocked you out.
Damn, that's a good point.
Hey?
I didn't think about that, but that makes total sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right.
I guess that's where we're gonna have to leave it at. And right now, these guys are all laughing at Joshua and stuff, and meaning Deontay Wilder and Fury. They're just like if we fight him, this is not gonna be. It's not even a fight that they're gonna want to make. Eddie Hearn with Deontay Wilder or Fury. I mean, they got their fight coming up on the 22nd of February. Hopefully, it all happens and stuff.
And Joshua will have a mandatory before he gets the fight.
Yeah, he's so one or two opponents. Pulev.
Yeah.
Who's the IBF mandatory?
Did Pulev fight on the undercard, or was it Povetkin? I can't remember.
Wait, Povetkin, maybe Pulev. I don't know. I didn't watch the undercards.
Yeah. So
I mean, the main event was boring as enough. I was trying to stay awake, and it was only midday because the fight was starting at
Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Did you hear how much they made?
Yeah. So
because I heard too. Let's see if it's the same.
So in pounds, Joshua got 66 million.
Okay, so I heard 85 million
Canadian
in US dollars. That makes sense.
Maybe 85.
No, so that makes sense with around 60 pounds.
Yeah, a lot of money, right?
Oh,
and 10 million for.
I heard 13 and a half for Ruiz.
Big pay,
but any double digits in the millions is a great payday. But it's amazing, eh? Suddenly these guys. They're working their butts off in the gyms for years and years, and their whole goal is to become a world champion.
Yeah.
And then he becomes a world champion in the most entertaining way by upsetting the multi-belt champ.
Yeah.
And then he gets all these accolades, this talk shows, money, everyth's thrown at him. And the next fight, it's affected him already.
I know, it did. But so that it kind of it's a little bit like remember, like Buster Douglas when Buster Douglas knocked out Mike Tyson, and then put on the exact same amount of weight, 15 pounds as Ruiz did. Yeah, what a coincidence, eh?
Yeah. And
put on the same amount of weight as Ruiz did for his rematch with Joshua.
Yeah.
And then, but I mean, they fought different opponents. Ruiz fought a rematch with Joshua, and Buster Douglas fought Evander Holyfield, but got knocked out. But he put on the 15 pounds, and
same result.
Yeah.
Well, at least Ruiz didn't get knocked out, and he mentioned that a few times in the post fight presser, right? That he didn't get knocked out, and he felt good. He didn't get hit by anything that really affected him.
This is what he says. Andrew Ruiz.
Yeah.
I didn't prepare how I should have. I gained too much weight. I don't want to give excuses. He won. If we do a third fight, you best believe I'm going to be in shape. I'll be in the best shape of my life. Man, honestly, just be quiet, man, and just go. He's trying to get a third fight. You just want to get paid again. You're not gonna come in shape again. You're gonna be.
No, I think he would.
Okay, maybe he will.
His ego was really shot down.
And but I think also too, Joshua may take a fight like this because I don't think he wants Fury or Wilder. I don't think he wants that. You don't want that work.
He will never. Then the problem is, then he will never be considered the true champ if he doesn't fight. It will affect his legacy if he doesn't fight them. He's got to. Yeah. But I agree with you. He's in deep trouble if he fights Tyson or Wilder or even Usyk.
Joshua. So Pulev is the IBF mandatory, and the WBO is Usyk. So that's going to be the next fight.
Usyk already has a belt in heavyweight?
No, he's just a mandatory, but WBO
Oh, okay.
the title is Joshua's got the title.
Right.
So
this could be interesting.
And that's going to be the next fight for Joshua.
You think it's going to be
Eddie
Usyk?
Hearn. It's going to be one of the
Pulev.
two guys, Pulev or Usyk.
Either one is a good challenge for him. I think he's...
I don't rate Pulev.
No, I think he can beat Pulev, but I don't know with Usyk. How big does Usyk look big? I saw one
Not
fight.
really. He
didn't look that much bigger than a cruiserweight.
But he's very well amateur schooled.
Yeah, he is. He is. It reminds me of, not exactly, but remember David Haye came up from cruiserweight?
Yeah.
He had some success, but when he met the bigger guys, they were knocking him around the ring.
Yeah.
Right? And then he even got knocked out by, in their second fight, the other British fighter.
Carl Thompson.
No.
Haye?
Yeah, David Haye got knocked out by...
Yeah, it was Thompson.
No. Well, he did get... But in his... He had a rematch with... what's the dude's name? That got knocked out by Stevenson. Donna Stevenson. British guy.
Bellew.
Tony Bellew. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So Tony Bellew in the rematch just destroyed David Haye. So he didn't. So he had some success,
he did,
but he's nowhere near the fighter that. And I like David Haye, but he was nowhere near the fighter that Usyk is.
I remember David Haye at the Commonwealth Games in 2002 in Manchester, England.
Yeah.
So there's a guy on the Canadian team. He was gonna fight David Haye, right?
Yeah.
And then I guess so I heard I guess David Haye got kicked off the team or something.
Okay.
The English team because he was already dealing with professional and stuff, and he was gonna go. He went somewhere to go train, and then so the Great Britain team kicked him off. Then I remember I go and tell this guy on our team, hey. You're not fighting Haye anymore. You got disqualified. He's kicked out the team, and he acted all like, yeah, whatever, man. I want to fight him. I'm like, dude, you didn't even want none of that, man. He just stopped you and knocked you out or something. Just be happy he's not fighting you.
So you got to buy.
Yeah.
Jeez, not bad.
Yeah, not bad, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So should we dissect that fight a little bit?
Yeah, sure. We can spend some time on it.
Yeah, okay. So the obvious thing was how slow and lethargic he looked physically, Ruiz, but also the look on his face. He just didn't. He looked frustrated at times, and he didn't have that like hunger look in his eyes like he did in the first fight.
Can I add one?
Yeah, for sure.
So if you're if you have a test. And you've prepared so well for it and stuff, and you're gonna go in there and you can be so confident and stuff, and you can be like, oh, I'm gonna ace this, whatever. But you go into that exam and you haven't prepared, and you're looking around and you're like, oh, who can I cheat off of? How am I gonna get through? That's what it was.
Yeah.
He knew he didn't prepare.
He did.
He didn't prepare for battle, and this is how you're gonna feel if you're not prepared.
And I heard like interview with Paulie Malignaggi, and he said something really good. He said, he's gonna go home right after the fight, and he'll have that paycheck of $13.5 million. He'll feel good about it. He'll feel good. But a month from now, he ain't gonna feel so good. He's gonna regret what happened. And his lack of training. Yeah. And that's going to haunt him. That's what Malignaggi said. And I think that's probably true.
And it's not all about money and all that too. I mean, money makes things good and stuff, but also your legacy in the sport is always going to be etched in the books and in stone, and that can be reverted. And
I think they're among Mexican fighters or Mexican. Like if it's from your background or whatever, ancestry, that there's a certain machismo, the Latino machismo. You got a man's got to be a man, and that fight.
Yeah, that's true.
That fight, like affected that.
Mm-hmm.
And
being a proud Mexican.
That's why I think he'll come back quite strong. And but I don't know who they're.
Yeah.
I can't even guess. So he couldn't cut off the ring. Back to the fight.
Yeah.
He couldn't cut off the ring because he was too heavy and his feet were too slow. He was effective when they were inside. Like he knows how to clench and throw punches. And Anthony Joshua doesn't know how to do that.
He didn't want anybody. No. But he's a taller, bigger fighter. Anyways, so he's not suited for that type of style.
Right.
And Ruiz is.
And so he didn't engage him. He got out pretty quick. His whole strategy was, Joshua's strategy was actually the exact type of strategy to fight that type of boxer.
Exactly. He did exactly what he needed to do, and he executed the game plan, like exactly how it was supposed to be for him. How it should have been in the first fight.
Yeah. And you see how, like, if you compare, like, Wilder, when you watch Wilder fight, you go, no matter how he's doing, like, even in his last fight, no matter how he's doing, you still go, that bomb's coming. Yeah. It's coming.
Yeah.
It's going to come.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And sure enough, it comes. With Ruiz, I didn't anyways, have that just by looking at his posture and everything as he's fighting. I thought, no, it ain't coming. The knockout punch is not coming.
Not today.
No. And you know what surprised me also was how good Anthony Joshua's conditioning was and cardio was.
Right.
He was, the way he moved, right, in the 12th round was the same as how he moved in the first.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
Yeah. So I guess he realized, like, he doesn't have to be in the gym and working on muscles all the time.
But you know who told him that?
Who was it? McCracken?
No, Klitschko.
Oh yeah,
they're friends, and Klitschko met with him.
They talk often, and he was talking about Klitschko.
And Klitschko just basically, I believe you can quote it, but Klitschko basically said to him, "Forget about the weightlifting. Focus your camp on boxing and box and technique."
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah,
and he's a freaking smart dude, Klitschko.
Very smart.
Guy like plays chess like almost daily.
He's so Joshua now. He's 30 years old. He's only 30.
Yeah.
Now joins a small group of fighters: Muhammad Ali, Lennox Lewis, Evander Holyfield, Mike Tyson, Floyd Patterson, who all have reclaimed the heavyweight title.
Ah, okay.
So Eddie Hearn, promoter for Anthony Joshua. So this is what he says: Madison Square Garden was humiliated. I like his accent is good. His accent.
Yeah. Where's he? Where?
The Garden was humiliation. He went down 4 times. People wrote him off. Said he had no heart. He quit. He went back, brushed himself down, and went back to work to prove you all wrong. It was an absolute masterclass. Not bad, eh?
Not bad.
I shadowed a way of boxing people didn't believe you could do it.
Now, I got to disagree, though, with something Eddie Hearn said. When he said you all thought that he didn't have heart or whatever, that he quit.
No one really said that.
No, but he kind of did in that particular fight. But that doesn't mean overall he's a quitter. But in that fight, I disagree. He did actually quit. He did. You could see it in his face. He spat out his mouthpiece, his mouth guard. It wasn't just to buy time. He actually walked away from the ref. He has enough experience to know you don't walk away from the ref after you've been knocked down, that you stand there with your gloves up, you walk forward, the ref says, okay.
If you want to continue.
Right. He didn't want to continue.
Yeah.
He quit. He saw where it was going. And that's it. Ruiz gave him a way out of that fight. It's funny because he obviously wasn't well prepared for that fight while he's the champ. Then he's the underdog. Or he's not. He's the challenger. And then the champ underprepares.
Yeah.
When they meet again.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what Ruiz was thinking. He should have been thinking like, it's hindsight, but I gotta prepare even harder than I did the last time because he's gonna be way better.
Yeah, for sure. And whenever you're the champion, everyone's gunning for you. Like if you're the champion, I'm not just saying in a rematch, but if you're a champion, these guys are gunning for you, and you best believe it's going to be their best fight that they're going to put up against you.
That's why you got to really respect Tyson Fury and Wilder, because with all their fights they've had, even when Tyson Fury wasn't in shape, he was still great. But what was I going to say? So,
like, you respect Tyson Fury and
I
Wilder.
respect them because they're up for every fight, and they win.
Yeah,
they have that mental toughness and that motivation to stay at the top.
I guess you gotta be, because one loss can completely derail. Like, Joshua's in a position in this fight that had he lost this fight, he would have fallen out of the picture out of the heavyweight landscape, and it would have been very, very hard for him to get back into that picture again. So you can't afford to lose, especially nowadays in boxing where records they mean a lot. But you can never judge a guy by his record. I remember a lot.
True.
True.
But you know what? Also, when you are at the top of the division, and you also have no losses on your record, and there's another guy up there with no losses, and there was also the Hammer. He was up there with no losses. Mm-hmm. That was a light heavyweight. Never mind. So you get these guys that have no losses, but it's the same for light heavyweight. Then you're right. The nail. Then you
lost it.
So when you got these guys at the top, I know. When you guys have these guys at the top without a loss, then it does mean something when you do lose. But when you're, right.
Yeah.
But when you're at the top and you've got a few losses, and the contender has, and the other belt owner has, it doesn't seem as big a deal because you're not giving up that O.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so when a fighter loses, and usually they change their trainer, or like I blame it on my trainer. Like De La Hoya did it with Robert Alcazar. Like, some fighters are doing that, but Anthony Joshua didn't, and that was kind of surprising to some. His trainer Robert McCracken, who's also he's a really good trainer, one of the best trainers that I've ever experienced. I've dealt with him too, like when I was promoted by Hennessy Sports in England, and he one of my fights in England as a pro, he cornered my fight and stuff, and I worked with him in the training camp. Like, well, it was only like 3-4 days prior to the fight, and it was really good working with him. I liked him. He was always like, all right, Andrew, you gotta tidy it up, like make it clean, like clean it up, make it sharp, and tidy it up, I guess in England they say things a little bit different.
Yeah, but that makes sense.
Yeah, so I always say that now. Come on, man, you gotta tidy it up, man, tidy it up.
Well, look at his previous success with Froch.
Yeah.
Froch only lost twice, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember Froch's exact record, but Froch, like,
he lost a Ward, and he lost once to Kessler or whatever his name was, and he came back and beat Kessler, I think, too, in a rematch. But he only had 2 losses, and he was with McCracken.
Yeah,
and McCracken. See, by the way Joshua looked and quit, and the way he even his walk to the ring.
Robert McCracken fought for a WBC title.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So he's been in both sides of the ring. Mm-hmm. So my point with Anthony Joshua was, in the first fight, in my mind, I'm like, this is not the trainer's fault. This is Joshua.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, he's got to push himself to train. And you could see his head wasn't there. And he even admitted that his head wasn't in the game in the first fight.
Yeah.
So I think that McCracken, didn't have a lot to do with McCracken, unless McCracken's job is to also motivate the guy to train. Mm-hmm. But I think that's a two-way street. The fighter's got to be willing and motivated.
Yeah, they have to be.
You can't just be the trainer pushing. You can only push so much.
You shouldn't need that in the professional ranks and at that level. You shouldn't need that. You should be wanting to do it on your own.
Yeah.
On your own accord.
And especially, it's funny because it's just weird, because the motivation was his first big fight in America.
Yeah.
And on the biggest stage
Yeah.
in Madison Square Garden for Joshua.
Yeah.
So I was surprised he wasn't more prepared.
Mhm.
But, you never know what's going on in their lives and what's going on in their minds.
You don't.
It's such a tough sport.
Yeah, and
it's easy for me to sit here.
And he was, exactly, it is. We don't know what.
Yeah.
And, he's been beating everybody, and, who's the Andrew Ruiz guy? It's human nature to overlook somebody, even though you're not supposed to, and they tell you, you gotta always focus on whoever. It happens. Everyone's human.
Yeah.
And the big question now is just let's see if Anthony Joshua is mentally strong enough to be able to compete with Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, those two of the top guys in the heavyweight division. And that's going to be the question, because ultimately his whole everything's riding on if he can beat one of these guys, if he fights them, if he can beat them or not. Because if not, then it's always like Anthony Joshua. Good, he was a good fighter. He was an Olympic gold medalist, and he was a heavyweight champion. But he lost his belt, and then he beat the guy. But then he lost to one of the other Fury Wilder.
Well, that's
just it's tight.
But that's. He's going to do a mandatory, and after he does that, hopefully he fights, the winner of the Wilder Fury 2 fight. But the thing is, I think he's coming off of this fight feeling really confident, and he's improved as a boxer as well, his skill. So his confidence level is high, and now's a good time to start talking to him about signing a deal.
Yeah, well, let him do one of the mandatories, and then let's see after that. Because you beat Andrew Ruiz, but you're not ready yet to go into the real deep waters with Fury and.
That's why I think it's a good idea to have a mandatory fight first, and somebody that can test him a little bit too.
Yeah, and then you can sell out at Wembley or wherever, and you can make a lot more money, and your promoter's going to be really happy, and
because he won, people are going to be really interested. Mm-hmm. He's a superstar in England, for sure.
He's definitely a superstar.
So people are really going to be interested now. Yeah. Casual fans, too, will be interested in following his career again.
For sure, because I follow some sites and some different thing on Facebook, like this one thing, and then one somebody posted up was Deontay Wilder versus Anthony Joshua. Who you got? And there's a bunch of people saying Joshua in a match against Wilder, and so people are interested. I'm just saying.
But you're right. You're right.
People are interested.
Great. It's good for boxing.
It is definitely.
Yeah.
So and with Robert McCracken was saying, he's I think he is where he wanted to be. He's where he's wanted to be for this fight. He listened in camp, worked really hard, and boxed very well against a dangerous fighter. And then he's Andrew Ruiz is really dangerous, and he's very quick and heavy-handed. There were a couple of times Josh went into mid-range and came unstuck and settled back down in the corner and got back on it. I like how he said that. Hey,
yeah.
How he just got into range but then he got stuck in there, and McCracken was real alluding to he wanted just to in and out and box.
In and out, boxing.
And don't get stuck.
Good old fashioned boxing, right? Mm-hmm. Hit and don't be hit. Don't get hit.
And then Joshua says this after the fight and stuff. He's I just wanted to put on a great boxing masterclass and also show the sweet science of this lovely sport. It's about hitting and not getting hit. Sometimes with certain fighters you have to box smarter. I understand what Andy brought to the table, so I had to decapitate him in a different way. So you know how he said that decapitated him?
Yeah.
So I guess like human rights groups and whatever didn't really like what he said there because they're using the word decapitate in Saudi Arabia. I'm not making a joke.
Oh, right.
Because
so who didn't like it? The Saudis?
No, like different agencies and
oh god, they need to lighten up. We're talking about boxing. Jeez.
Everywhere you can't say anything.
Freaking snowflakes.
Yeah.
It wasn't meant in the context to first of all, if it was a human rights group, I'm not sure what the human rights offense is in that case, but
decapitate in a place where they do execute and decapitate.
But he was just speaking words about boxing. So it has no affiliation just because the location was in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
What if he said the same thing and the location was in England?
Yeah, exactly.
According to them, that would be okay.
Yeah, then he can say all
it has the same meaning. So it's silly.
Isn't it?
Oh, God, people, grow a tougher skin.
And then Hearn said that the UK pay-per-view numbers for that rematch were well over a million.
Excellent,
just in England. So
oh my God,
he is a massive draw in the UK.
Yeah, and I bet a lot of people were watching around the world too, especially in the US, because we know what the potential fights are going to be.
Yeah. Everyone was curious to see, can he bounce back? Can he mentally overcome being knocked out and being humiliated, like Eddie Hearn said, humiliated in New York in MSG when his first fight over in America. So
yeah.
All right, so let's move on to another topic, and we'll just. I know we discussed a little bit about the fight card this weekend. Pretty exciting fight card at MSG Madison Square Garden. Actually, really good venue. I've been there. I went to a Lomachenko and Rigondeaux fight there at the Garden. It was very nice, man. Setup was great. It was a great venue for boxing.
Yeah, too bad Rigondeaux stunk it out.
Oh man, don't even get me started on that, man.
And you know how he does. He just had his game plan was just terrible.
Then the one thing he lied about an injury. He was injured. Then Pedro Diaz said he wasn't even injured, and Pedro threw him underneath the bus. Good, the guy's lying. He's probably pissed. Like, how could you be cower out? You claim to be one of the best ever, and such a great fighter, and this and that, and then. Where was your heart?
Yeah, no heart there. But, so coming up, what do we...
So we got Terrance Crawford against the Agidas Cavalasos, the Mean Machine. Anyway,
okay.
So just my take on this fight is that, first of all, this guy's not on this level, but this is not Terrance Crawford's fault that... He's fighting guys like this, and people are clamoring for a fight with. We don't even know where Earl Spence is right now, what his prognosis is, and diagnosis from the car accident, when he's going to return, or if he's going to return. Then there's other fighters, like there's a Pacquiao, there's Thurman,
Garcia,
Porter, but the problem is. That these guys are all PBC fighters. So the PBC fighter and the top rank is Terrance Crawford top rank, and you know how hard it is for these different to match up and fight each other. It's very hard.
It is, but they can do it. It's been done before.
It has. For sure it has.
And I think that's what the people want, for sure, the boxing fans. That's what we want. We want to see Earl Spence Jr. and Crawford. That's the fight of the decade.
Yeah. And see, I'm just saying, like, this fight said, like, this guy's not even in the Mean Machine.
So is this a mandatory or something?
It's a mandatory. And just put it this way. This guy, Mean Machine... He had a draw with Ray Robinson. So, like, and Ray Robinson just a good fighter.
Yeah.
Nothing great, nothing.
Yeah.
So this is should be, but this is boxing. So
Yeah.
and also the guy's a 2-time Olympian. So we know about them 2-time Olympians, man.
Yeah. What? They suck?
See that? Two-time.
Nice. You got 1-time Thurman and 2-time Singh.
Two-time.
Hey, that's not bad.
2-time. 1-time. But I like when Spence's say, man, Keith, sometime Thurman, sometime. Sometime Thurman.
I know.
Sometime Thurman was.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. But you know, it is a fight that I think would get really good pay-per-view buys, Spence and Crawford, like around the world.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You're right. If he's under PBS, maybe those fights won't happen too soon. They got to keep circulating these guys because there's quite a few at the top. And Pacquiao, we cannot exclude him from that group.
No, definitely
I know you
not.
mentioned him. Yeah, you're
definitely
right.
Not. He's and Pacquiao actually he just received a degree from the I don't want to give out the wrong information, but I think I'm just gonna say University of Philippines. I don't know, and I'm not gonna even say degree in what, but I just want to what he was saying in his post. He's like, it's never too late. Basically, it's never too late to become what you could have been. That's I like that quote. It's real. I always use that.
It's excellent.
Never look what this guy is doing. Like he's still 40. He's 41 years old, and he's still boxing. Let alone boxing, he's still
high level
in the Senate, and he's still getting educated. And he's still doing all this stuff, and he's just an amazing human, amazing fighter, amazing person. We've been blessed to have experienced someone like Manny Pacquiao during our lifetime.
Oh, very lucky. And Mayweather, too.
Yeah. Why do we gotta go there, man, with Mayweather?
Because he was such a great boxer.
Yeah, he was but I'm talking about he was a good fighter, yeah. A good fighter, but just that. Good fighter. And a great fighter, whatever, but like not entertaining. And if you ask people, it's not everyone's like you.
I know. Like, I thought he was, when he put on he schooled Canelo.
Yeah.
Not only schooled him, like, he won, I think Canelo maybe won 2 rounds.
How many years ago was that fight, first of all?
Yeah,
and that's when Canelo was young.
Yeah, I'm not dissing Canelo in that.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about Mayweather's brilliance in that.
Yeah. No, he's for sure he's brilliant. And I can debate about Floyd Mayweather all the time. Like, what about the other stuff that, like, flashing? Okay, the one thing is that if you're a champion and people love you, you can walk anywhere on the street, wherever you want. Pretty much, you can go where you don't have to worry about big bodyguards being around you, and you can't go here, you can't go there. Mike Tyson was like that. Muhammad Ali was like that. Pacquiao was like that. People would just mob him. But they don't hate him. Like Mayweather can't walk anywhere not because of Mayweather. Yeah, because of that too. But also too, a lot of people don't even like him.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And in boxing, at the end of the day, it's the fans who are gonna point who the best fighters are. That work because it's the fans that are ultimately paying all the money that fighters are getting and whatever they're the ones. So and a lot of the fans, a lot that I've talked to don't even put Floyd in the top 5, and a lot of boxers don't even put Floyd in the top 5.
Yeah, I disagree, but that's always going to be up for debate.
Yeah. But he's Pretty Boy Floyd.
Yep. I call him Pretty Rich Floyd.
Oh, yeah. I like that one. Pretty rich. He definitely is pretty rich.
All right, man. What else?
So
the Teofimo.
So another fight that's happening on that card on Saturday in Brooklyn. Teofimo Lopez, who's 22 and from New York, 14-0, 11 KOs, and this is his first world title fight.
Yeah.
Against Richard Commey, 29-2, 26 KOs. 32 years old from Ghana.
Yeah, I think Teofimo, and I like him, and I like the way he boxes, but I don't think he can beat the experience also of Commey. He's had 14 fights only.
Yeah,
and this is to be the
yeah. You're right, eh? There's a big difference.
There's a big difference. What's his name's had over 29 fights.
Yeah,
and he's only 32. You're a real strong man at age 32.
You're right. I good because I bet Simo on this fight too.
You bet Lopez?
Simo, yeah.
You bet him? Who did you?
I got Commey.
By the way, okay, just so everybody can see, I lost a bet with Kooner here, $20.
Show me the money.
I owe him 20. Now I don't owe him. It's on record. He can't ask for 20. Say I didn't pay him.
I'm gonna take my wife to McDonald's. Get her a Happy Meal. But
oh man.
And then Commey won the title from Ray Beltran.
Yeah.
Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
No, Mexican. Not Puerto Rican. Mexican.
Yeah, I remember he had trouble getting a visa.
Yeah, and you know, and it was the one fight. Had he not won that fight, he would have had to go back to Mexico.
Oh, wow.
But this helped him get his U.S.
That's good.
Citizenship. This win.
I always liked him too.
Yeah.
But yeah, Comey's a good damn fighter, man.
And tall, lanky.
Yeah. So you pick Commey over Lopez?
I do.
Yeah,
and one thing I went that way too is like, you remember the one fight that Teofimo had with the Japanese fighter?
Yep.
And
pushed him to 12 rounds.
Yeah,
right?
and he had a hard time with him.
Yeah.
And this guy was 6 foot, mind you.
Yeah.
But he was tall and he was lanky, and he gave Teofimo a lot of problems. Everyone felt like that he looked human, and because Teofimo's been doing beating guys, knocking them out, doing all those flips and stuff he does after the fight, and stuff. Like that or not, I'm not a big fan of all that. He's not Prince Asim Muhammad.
He wants to be.
But anyway, so Teofimo, I know we're almost done here.
Yeah.
We got so much stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot.
We have like Gervonta Davis that with his fight with Yojokis Gamboa coming up in Atlanta.
Yeah, I see him taking that fight, no problem.
Yeah, easily knockout. Gamboa's 37 years old. He's done. He's been done. I didn't even know
he's done from when Crawford put him down.
Yeah, he got demolished.
Yeah.
I didn't even know he's still around until I heard this fight got announced. I'm like, whoa, Gervonta, mind you, 22-0, 21 knockouts, 25 years old, and he's the hottest boxer in the game right now.
Wow,
the hottest. And then we got Pascal on the undercard, John Pascal.
Yeah.
34-6, 1 draw, 20 KOs, fighting battle with the Ripper Jack.
Yeah, I know when he fought when he lost to Brown, that it was when Badu Jack lost to Brown
with that cut.
With the cut, and he just didn't box well. He just didn't look good out there. His jab didn't look like it had a snap to it. He was not putting combinations together. Based on that fight, if I were to predict this next fight, but even if it's not that fight, but generally, I'd say Pascal's going to beat him.
I hope so.
I think Pascal's really motivated.
I think Pascal too. He's they both have Marcus Brown as a common opponent. And Pascal beat Brown, but you can't compare. No, just because I
styles,
beat and he beat him.
Yeah.
I'm gonna beat it. doesn't work that way.
Right.
We'll see. I mean, that cut that Badu Jack had was a nasty
that was
cut.
ugly.
And I'm sure that created a whole lot of problems for him.
Yeah.
And throughout that fight, but also too that southpaw long jab and Marcus Brown. So it's going to be an interesting fight.
It will be. I think it'll be a good fight to watch. But I'm got my fingers crossed. I want to see. I want to see Pascal win that fight.
Yeah.
Because he could be on a good tear now.
Yeah, we're supporters of Pascal. I gotta get a Pascal shirt.
Yeah, we have to. We have to, man.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about the Jamal Charler.
No, we didn't talk about that. That fight was on
the younger brother.
The Saturday
by 8 minutes.
Yeah, by 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, beating Dennis Hogan.
So
the Irish transplant
to Australia. So he gets knocked down with an uppercut in the third round. So
Hogan
does.
Yeah.
You recognize Hogan's trainer? It's the same dude who was Jeff Horn's trainer.
Oh yeah.
Same guy.
Yeah.
Remember how Jeff Horn, when he fought Pacquiao, he would just put his head down a little bit and he'd be throwing punches with his head down as he charged forward. That's what Pacquiao was complaining about, too. This guy did the same thing, Hogan, and they recognized it, Charlo's team, and that's why they told that he did pull that. He came forward, boom, up right for the uppercut, knocks him down or stumbles there, and then in the fifth round, remember that we talked about that.
Well, fake the jab and then bang on the left hook.
That was beautiful,
yeah,
and good stoppage. Too,
yeah, very good.
The ref was absolutely right. He was wobbly. He would have taken more damage. The message from that fight is, watching that fight, Charlo is at the top of his game.
I agree.
He looked really, really good. He looked like he'll beat anybody.
But wait, haven't said that. Okay, like his opponent was Dennis Hogan. It wasn't like no Tony Harrison or somebody like that, like a high caliber fighter. Right?
Very true.
And Charlo was getting slandered on a lot of the sites that I look at as being a cherry picker and fighting guys that are not the top guys, but regardless of whatever, we know what we've seen. The guy's a good fighter. Any guy that throws really good uppercuts is a good fighter because you don't see that.
Listen, he was calling out Canelo and also Canelo and who else was he calling out?
He won that money.
Triple G as well.
Yeah.
Now's a good time to fight Triple G.
It is.
But I'd like to see Charlo fight is the at 160 is the Russian dude that gave Triple G such a tough time in his last fight. That's the same guy that fought Jacobs as well and was a sparring partner. Yeah, he's good. I'd love to see Charlo fight a guy like him.
Yeah,
I don't think they'd risk it. Mm-hmm. They want to. It's all the belts or none. I think.
Jacobs is fighting. I think with Chavez Jr. I think it's happening.
It's happening at 175.
Week or so, whatever.
Oh wow, we're running
out of time, Doc. So I forget the Cooners.
Okay, you know what I just wanted to talk about for the Did You Know segment was that Joe Frazier. One of the reasons why he was so bitter with Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
Yes, Muhammad Ali was comparing him to a gorilla and saying some Uncle Tom and really just nasty personal attack on him. And I saw an interview years ago with Joe Frazier, and he said, it wasn't just the personal attack that bothered him. It was also because when they stripped him of his title and his license, that he bumped into Muhammad Ali during that time. And Muhammad Ali asked him if he can lend him some money, and Joe Frazier said, "Yeah, for sure," and lent him some money. And he was really kind to him when not a lot of people were. So that's also why he took it so personally, the attack on him by Muhammad Ali.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
Good story.
Yeah.
No,
I remember that story.
Yeah. It's sad.
Now that you
brother, you got to take us out.
Okay, guys, that's it for our podcast 25.
Boom.
Then we got 26 coming up, and then this weekend We got some big fights. We get to see pound for pound number one guy. Remember how we were debating the Earl Spence and the Terrance Crawford?
Yeah.
But hey, it's not how you
all
start; it's how you finish.
Yeah.
Right. So
8 seconds, brother.
Oh man, where's this?
Where's the music?
song?
No.
Okay, God, we're. I don't know.
We got it. We out.
Okay, we're out, guys.